Welcome to this special episode where we shed light on the 2024 European Parliament elections, a political event that determines the future of the European Union and affects the lives of millions of its citizens. In this program, we will discuss the importance of these elections, hear from experts about the challenges facing Europe, and explore the priorities that should be at the forefront of the political agenda. In this episode, we host a group of distinguished guests to discuss the European Parliament elections, where they will add great value to today's discussion. Together, we will discuss the key issues that concern European voters and how the elections' results can influence EU policies in various fields. Stay tuned.
Guests of today's program: Her Excellency Anne Koistinen, Ambassador of the European Union to the State of Kuwait; His Excellency Lorenzo Morini, Ambassador of the Italian Republic to the State of Kuwait; Mohammed Rajai Barakat, Political Analyst Expert in European Affairs.
Now we share with you, our dear audience, some information about the European Parliament, which is considered the legislative heart of the European Union. The European Parliament consists of 720 members serving as a legislative body representing European citizens. There has been an increase of 15 members that compared to the previous Parliament. The European Union currently consists of 27 member states whose citizens participate in electing members of the European Parliament. Members of the European Parliament serve a term of 5 years, elected by citizens from the member states. The number of voters in European elections is approximately 447 million, comprising eligible European citizens. The electoral system in Europe varies from one country to another in obtaining seats. The voting age varies from one country to another. Usually the voting age is around 18 years old, but there are some countries that allow voting from a younger age. The voting period varies from one country to another, and voting begins today, the 6th of June, and ends on the 9th of June. The President of the European Parliament is elected for a term of 2.5 years in leading the Parliament's activities and representation. And for more information about the European Parliament elections, we'll be watching the following report.
The idea of the European Union emerged as a response to the political and economic aspirations that evolved over time. It began after World War II, where Europe witnessed deterioration and faced economic and political divisions. In this context, cooperation among European countries was encouraged to achieve peace and economic stability. As time progressed, the idea of establishing a European political entity that could make collective decisions and present the interests of European peoples expanded. In 1957, the European Economic Community was established, which was a significant step towards European integration. The idea evolved over the years, leading to the establishment of the European Union in 1993. However, democracy remained a major challenge in order to enhance legitimacy of the Union and represent its people. The idea of direct elections to choose members of the European Parliament emerged, though in 1979, the European Union witnessed its first direct elections for the European Parliament. Since then, these elections have become a regular event, bringing together millions of European voters who chose their representatives and vote on laws and policies that affect their daily lives. Through these elections, the strong connection between democracy and European integration is evident, as the European Parliament represents the heart of the EU's democratic system and embodies the principles of popular representation and democratic decision-making.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Still with you and covering the European Parliament elections, which started today in some countries and continue until the 9th of June. We are pleased to have with us the European Union Ambassador to the State of Kuwait, Her Excellency Anne Koistinen. Your Excellency, we are delighted to have you with us. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure to be here.
Your Excellency, first and foremost, our first question is what is the significance of these elections to the European Union and its citizens?
Let me say, first of all, that European Parliament is an extremely powerful body of the European Union, and it's directly elected legislative body, and it sets the policy and legislative direction for the European Union for the next 5 years. So the elections will run from 6 to 9 of June, and there will be as many as 360 million eligible voters participating in these elections. These elections have an impact as the Parliament will enact legislation that will have an impact on the daily lives of the European citizens, but also on the global role of the European Union. So the elections is a moment for the citizens to use their power to cast their vote and influence who will be selected, who will be then held accountable sitting in the European Parliament as member of it. The citizens can vote and reflect their values and interests by choosing their candidate to whom they vote. It's also an occasion to discuss very pressing foreign policy and security policy issues.
Yes, and how does the European Parliament contribute in shaping the decision-making and policy shaping?
So actually the members of the European Parliament, the MEPs, they represent the voice of the European citizens in the decision-making structures of the European Union.
Yes.
So Parliament adopts legislation which affects absolutely everyone in the European Union, and they decide on laws. They make laws together with the Council of Ministers, which represent the European Union member states. They can make laws, they can change laws. They also decide on the European Union budget, which is about expenditures. They make checks on how the EU is working. And very importantly, they vote and approve trade agreements with countries outside the European Union. And as we are moving ahead after these elections, they will elect the President of the European Commission, which is the executive body of the European Union.
Yes.
And they will also approve the members of the College, the European Commissioners, for the next 5 years. So indeed, the Parliament plays an extremely important role.
Yes. And how can the European citizens in the state of Kuwait participate in the electoral process?
So European citizens, so those who are citizens of the European Union member states, they can vote in the country of their origin, but in many cases they can also vote remotely or abroad. And in this sense, I would like to invite those who are planning to vote in these elections to check the information on the websites of their embassy, but also on the website of the European Union delegation to the State of Kuwait and our social media accounts. We have given information how to participate and how to vote, because it's different procedures in different EU member states.
Yes.
And I would very much invite everyone who is eligible to use their right to vote and have a say on who will be elected and how the future of the Europe looks like.
Well, Your Excellency, we ask you to please stay with us while we watch this quick report and continue our conversation.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, now we will transition from Kuwait to Brussels, where the headquarters of the European Union is located. Our correspondent there has prepared the following report.
Tens of millions in the 27 European Union countries will go to the polls. This huge crowd of voters will choose their representatives in the European Parliament, which will include 720 members in the largest democratic process in the West.
These elections are about, well, the future of Europe, I would say it always, but the world has been never more turbulent, I mean, in the last 70 years since the existence of the EU. So the question is, what direction do we want the EU to go?
The European Parliament is an essential partner in making decisions and setting standards and rules for the European Union economy, which represents the largest economic bloc in the world. That means influencing everything related to daily life.
We are here to have a meeting at some members of the European Parliament to talk about hydrogen.
We are here just to explain what we are doing now. We are doing an H2 road trip and we are promoting hydrogen, and it's also important that we do that in Europe. We do a coast tour through Europe to show the world that hydrogen is not only the future, but it's also possible now.
The far-right parties are making new gains. The traditional central parties are still at the forefront of the political scene and warns of the danger of the far right to European democracy, to the values of the Union and its role in supporting human rights globally.
We have a general context of crisis. The energy costs are rising and they do not have enough subsidies and support to stay in the market and to be rewarded for the quality of their production as they do deserve.
These European elections come at a historic stage for the European continent, with security and economic challenges not witnessed for many decades.
Wasim Ibrahim for Kuwait TV, reporting from the European institutions, Brussels.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and we are happy to discuss what we just saw in this report with our distinguished guest in the studio, Her Excellency Anne Koistinen. Your Excellency, what is the impact of the European parliamentary election results on the Union's foreign policy and international relations?
The European Parliament has a role to play also in the area of foreign policy and international relations. They are in many ways involved. The European Parliament is regularly consulted and informed of the common foreign and security policy. It monitors the implementation and negotiations of international treaties. And also, for instance, as a concrete example, they have a say on the adoption of visa waiver for nationals of foreign countries. Mm-hmm. So they will set, let's say, the direction. The European Parliament will set the direction for the policies of the Union, and they also are consulted on foreign policy matters.
Yes, and so what are some of the challenges that are going to be faced during this election process, and what are they doing to address them?
There are many challenges, of course, like concerning any elections process. I would first of all mention the interest in these elections, which can turn which can impact the voter turnout. So, how many people are interested to cast their vote? There is limited awareness of the role of the European Parliament, and that can have an impact. And in this sense, the European Union is launching awareness campaigns and awareness raising, providing more information on the functioning of the European Parliament and about the European Union, so that people take the opportunity to vote in these elections. And a very significant problem that I can see, and it concerns these elections as well, is disinformation. The fact that there is interference, cyber attacks, data breaches by hostile foreign actors that can have an impact on the opinions of people, of their, let's say, procedures and even the political process. And in this regard, the European Union has launched a rapid alert system, so that is tracking this kind of attempts to influence the process. We are also collecting evidence, and in this sense, it's not only the European institutions, it's also the member states and also like-minded partners, including Kuwait, who are our counterparts in looking at the issue of disinformation at the global scene.
Yes, and what role does the European Union play when it comes to promoting democracy and human rights within both the national and international levels?
Democracy and human rights are enshrined in the founding treaties of the European Union. So it's the very much of the backbone of the European Union's existence.
Yes.
And there are many ways that we follow up on this. There is Charter of Fundamental Rights, which explains and comprises of the rights that apply when European institutions are in function, also when member states are applying European Union law. In the global scene, European Union has put in place an action plan. We want to have a positive impact on the rights of individuals everywhere in the situation of peace, but also in the situation of crisis and conflicts.
Yes.
We very much support the UN human rights system and the multilateralism rules-based order, and we are very active on the United Nations structures defending and protecting human rights. On the top of this, we are conducting human rights dialogues with more than 60 countries in the world, and the state of Kuwait is among them. These dialogues give an opportunity to exchange on best practices and compare notes.
Excellent. Well, we hope that the process will be successful and will have a broad participation. The European Union Ambassador to the State of Kuwait, Her Excellency Anne Koistinen, thank you once again for joining us, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, we'll be back after this short break. As it is well known, the European parliamentary elections are among the most significant political events in the European continent and Italy, as they allow citizens to elect representatives to the European Parliament, influencing EU policies and ensuring Italy's voice is heard in European decision-making. To discuss this topic further, in this regard, we are honored to welcome His Excellency Lorenzo Morini, the Ambassador of the Italian Republic to the State of Kuwait. Your Excellency, after a warm welcome, of course, can you tell us what is your expectation regarding voter turnout in the upcoming European parliamentary elections?
Good morning, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. Look, this is a very important moment. There are a lot of international crises. There is a very difficult moment for the economy, the international economy, and the elections for the Parliament, European Parliament, are very important to define the future of our our country together with the rest of Europe. So I think there's going to be a big turnout because the people is going to go and vote, and because they want to be heard, they want to express their opinion, they want to decide what is the future going to look like.
And are there any expected changes in the political distribution of seats in the European Parliament based on the upcoming elections?
This is a very difficult, let's say, it's very difficult to look ahead and what's going to be the outcome of this election, because there are a lot of political parties that are growing in power, growing in influence in the Italian people. And also, it's very difficult to understand the younger generations, how they are going to express their preferences. Because also there is a new way of communicate, like social media, like internet, and it's very difficult to understand what type of, let's say, influence this new way of communications can have on younger generation and on the people in general. So I think it's going to be, we can expect some surprise, but I don't know exactly in which direction.
Your Excellency, what are Italy's priorities in the next European Parliament?
Look, our priorities are stability, economic growth, and security. This is the priorities of the Italian people. So we want to have a better integration with our partners in the European Union, because we believe that economic integration and political integration is a fundamental element, a fundamental tool to have a stronger European Union. And I think Italy, in special, has a strong interest in a just and sustainable, transition towards renewable energies and towards a green climate economy. Not to have our people paying for the price for a transition that is not just and not sustainable in the long term.
What role does Italy hope to play in strengthening unity and solidarity within the European Union in the face of current challenges?
Look, we want to play an important role. We want to play a central role in the European Union. We are among the most important members of the European Union in terms of both population and economy. So we have to play a strong role. It is our duty and it is our right at the same time. And we are very, committed to play a role in which we have a voice, and we give a voice to our people in the decision that the European Union is going to take for the future. It is clear that it is a shared burden that we have with other colleagues and other friends of the European Union, but we are happy and committed to play a central role in all the decisions that will be taken in the future.
Ambassador, thank you for joining us. The Italian ambassador to the State of Kuwait, His Excellency Lorenzo Morini. Your presence is truly appreciated. And now, dear viewers, we pause to watch a report on the role of the European Parliament in shaping economic, environmental and social policies within the European Union. After that, we'll return to continue with the program segments.
The European Parliament stands as a bi-voter legislative body within the European Union, wielding significant influence in policy-making and decision-making process, with the legislative authority spanning across various domains, including economic, environmental, and social policies. The European Parliament plays a crucial role in shaping the direction of the EU and its impact on its citizens. This report aims to delve into the multifaceted role of the European Parliament in these policy areas and its profound implications for the EU and its populace. In the realm of economic policies, the The European Parliament exerts its influence through a myriad of channels, from legislating on matters concerning the internal market and trade freedom, to overseeing cooperative regulation and facilitating international economic cooperation. The Parliament plays a pivotal role in shaping the economic landscape of the EU. Furthermore, it diligently scrutinizes and evaluates the performance of EU economic policies, offering insightful recommendations for their enhancement and efficiency. With environmental sustainability high on its agenda, the European Parliament is actively involved in crafting policies aimed at safeguarding the environment and fostering sustainable development. Through its legislative prowess and decision-making processes, the Parliament champions initiatives related to nature conservation, climate change mitigation, and the promotion of renewable energy. Moreover, it spearheads efforts to foster innovation and investment in eco-friendly technologies while prioritizing the improvement of air and water quality across the EU. In its commitment to fostering social cohesion and justice, the European Parliament is deeply engaged in the formulation of social policies that resonate with the values of solidarity and equality. From advocating for the protection of workers' rights and the advancement of gender equality, to combating discrimination and enhancing educational opportunities, the Parliament plays a pivotal role in shaping a more inclusive and equitable society within the EU.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Now we are delighted to have with us via satellite the political analyst expert in European affairs, Mohammed Raja'i Barakat. After a warm welcome, Mr. Mohammed, can you tell us what is the possible aspirations Europe might seek and what are the ambitions of the voters, for instance, as we commence the European Parliament elections today amidst global wars and conflicts?
As the European Parliament is a co-legislator concerning all files of the Union competency and has the power to approve the European budget and also to approve the next the future European Commission. People, citizens at the European Union hope that the next Commission is going to develop economy, especially after the crisis and after the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 and because of the war in Ukraine. A lot of the war in Ukraine, it influenced the quality of life of citizens. And they hope that the next Commission is going to take measures so as to ameliorate, so as to make better the life of people at the European Union. And also, they want the European Union to ensure effective control of the borders, external borders of the European Union. Europe has accepted to welcome many refugees, and there's many illegal migrants. They want the European Union to implement, especially the last decisions that have been taken by the Council and the European Parliament, so as to face the problem of refugees. Many people think that this issue is costing a lot and influence the quality of life of European citizens. For this, these issues can influence the choice of electors during the next elections next week. And for this, all these issues are very important. And also, many people here in Europe want the European Union to implement the Green Deal. The European Union decided to make the emissions that influence the greenhouse effects and to arrive to zero emissions from now until the year 2050. But it's going also to be difficult to realize this objective. So you have many problems that the next Commission is going to face. And also, as you know, the war and the sanctions against Russia has negative effects on the economic level and on the inflation. The official statistics given by the governments speaking about inflation around 10 to 15%. But when the citizens go to the supermarkets and try to buy what they need, they are feeling that the inflation is more than that. And all these problems, people here aspire to have solutions to all these problems.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed, you bring up a lot of key issues. And being that this is the first elections held after the UK's departure from the European Union, how do you perceive this Brexit impact on the political dynamics within the EU, and what are the emerging challenges or even opportunities from the situation?
I think that it's going to have it's not going to have any effects. All countries, all member states countries in the European Union, and many citizens know that the Brexit does not succeed to realize, to obtain the results that Mr. Boris Johnson and the others, like Nigel Farage, who was a member of the European Parliament, and he was pushing so as to have this Brexit. And this Brexit has now negative effects on the economy in Britain. And all countries, all member states countries, they have benefits, they have advantages in staying in the European Union. For this, I don't think that it's going to have effects on voters, and I don't think that people are going to ask their governments, even if the extreme right or the far right is going to have more members at the European Parliament.
Now, Mr. Mohammed, you did mention some of the current events going on the international scene. Do you think, will there be a change in EU policies due to these current events?
Now, it's important for the European Union to have more independence on the military level. They are speaking about a force, military force for the European Union. And they are trying to make this force maybe around 5,000 soldiers. But until now, they failed in realizing this such project. And they need to have more influence and more importance on the international level. Mr. Borrell said last week that the European Union is losing its credibility because of what's happening on the international level, especially in the Middle East. And they have to adopt a new policy and have more common positions concerning the events which are taking place in the world. For this, I think it's important for the European Union to make this, and also to have a new energy policy, try to find another sources of energy. The citizens in Europe are paying a lot for energy, electricity, and others. All these issues are very important and are going to influence the results of the next election.
Well, we thank you so much for your contribution and participation with us, the political analyst expert in European affairs, Mr. Mohammed Raja'i Barakat. Dear viewers, we have reached the end of our program. We would like to thank all the guests who participated and contributed to enriching this discussion. It has been an engaging and informative episode thanks to your valuable input. To our viewers, we hope this episode has provided you with new and useful insights. Goodbye for now.